I have to admit, I was a bit skeptical about the Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L as USM lens at first. I mean, a 70-200mm f2.8 lens from Canon, we've seen these before, and they're always high quality, but I wasn't sure what would set this one apart. But, after spending some time with it, I can confidently say that this lens is a game changer in its own right. If you're interested in checking out the product details, the link is in the description, so be sure to take a look. I've had my fair share of experience with 70-200mm lenses, and I've bought and returned a few before I stumbled upon the Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L as USM. People online were raving about it, but I wasn't convinced yet. That was until I spent a whole weekend photographing a wedding with it, and it just completely blew me away. I was impressed by its performance, and I think my clients will love the results it produces. One of the first things I noticed, and I think my clients will appreciate this, is just how compact this lens is for its specs. We're talking about a lens with a lot of glass, but it's actually really small. I mean, when you compare it to other lenses in the same range, it's remarkably compact. My clients will love how it looks on their camera, and it's not too massive to put on a gimbal or anything like that, which is a huge plus. I've worked with some lenses in the past that were just too big and heavy to handle, but this one is a breeze. Now, the first test for any 70-200mm lens is going to be how it performs at the wide end of its range, 70mm. Let's be honest, guys, this is where a lot of lenses can fall short. Will it feel a bit soft, or is it going to cut through? But with the Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L as USM, I was really surprised by the sharpness it produced. Like, it's on par with some of the other top-end lenses I've used, and that's saying a lot. The image quality is just incredible, and I think that's what sets this lens apart from the competition. At the narrow end, around 200mm, the image stabilization on the Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L as USM is honestly amazing. I mean, we're talking up to 5 stops of shake correction, which essentially means you're looking at images that are just rock solid. This is especially important when you're shooting in low-light conditions or when you're using a slower shutter speed. The image stabilization really helps to eliminate any camera shake or blur, and it makes a huge difference in the quality of your photos. But the real ace up this lens's sleeve is the autofocusing. I've been using a lot of fast-moving lenses lately, and it's always been a bit of a balancing act between speed and accuracy. The dual nano USM in this Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L as USM, though, is basically silent, super fast, and pin-sharp every single time. I was blown away by how quickly and accurately it could focus, even in challenging conditions. This is especially important when you're shooting in situations where you need to be able to react quickly, like at a wedding or a sports event. Now, I mentioned earlier that this lens has a minimum focusing distance of 2.3 feet, and, guys, that's actually super helpful in some of the situations I find myself in, like taking tighter portrait shots. That extra little bit of reach makes all the difference, and it allows you to get some really unique and intimate shots. I've found that it's especially useful when I'm shooting in tight spaces or when I need to get up close and personal with my subject. Of course, no lens is perfect, and there are a few things that I wish were different. The weight distribution isn't perfect for my taste, it's a bit heavier than I'd like, and it can be a bit unbalanced when you're using it with a smaller camera body. I also wish it was a bit cheaper, who doesn't? But overall, it's a pro lens through and through, built with the level of quality you'd expect from the RF line. The construction is solid, the glass is top-notch, and the features are all designed to help you get the best possible results. You might be wondering if it's just me talking here, or has anyone else had a chance with the Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L as USM? I've done some research and talked to some other photographers who have used this lens, and the consensus is that it's an absolute winner. One thing that really caught me by surprise is just how nice it is to hold, considering the size and weight. Plus, it feels really sturdy and it has that nice L-series build. I also appreciate how easy it is to clean, it's relatively simple, and the lens hood is easy to remove and replace. Now, let's talk about the pros and cons. I know some of you might be thinking about those other super expensive options out there, and wondering if this lens is worth the investment. In my opinion, it absolutely is. The pros far outweigh the cons, and the results you'll get from this lens are just incredible. Of course, there are some downsides. The price tag, for one, is a bit steep. But honestly, at the same time, you're really getting what you pay for. It's been an absolute joy working with this Canon RF 70-200mm f2.8 L is USM. Its ability to deliver top-notch results from wide to narrow on a consistent basis is just something else. I've been using it for a while now, and I can confidently say that it's one of the best lenses I've ever had the pleasure of working with. If you're in the market for a high-quality 70-200mm lens, I would highly recommend giving this one a look. And if you're interested in checking it out further, be sure to click the link in the description.